Modern Western civilization presents itself as the pinnacle of human achievement, the heir of Rome, of ancient Greece, and of the Christian tradition, the natural continuation of reason, law, and freedom. Yet behind this narrative lies another story, the story of a civilized world conquered by barbarians, and of a heritage usurped but never truly absorbed. To understand the political world of today, the psychology of Europe, the mindset of America, the crisis of values and the obsession with power, we must return to the beginning, to the moment when Rome ceased to be Rome, and the West was born out of the ruins of a world it never understood. This is the subject of this series. We will examine how the modern West was founded, not as it remembers itself, but as it truly was, a history of conquest, usurpation, and imitation, through which the mentality that still governs the world was formed. In the late 5th century, the Western Roman Empire collapsed under the weight of invasions. The Vandals, Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Franks, peoples without writing, without cities, without political tradition, occupied the Roman provinces. In 410, Rome itself was sacked. In 476, Odoacer deposed the last emperor, and the West was left without a center, without institutions, without education. It was not a transition, as it is often described, but a collapse, the downfall of a civilization that could no longer withstand the barbarity surrounding it. The Germanic tribes settled in the lands of the empire, but they did not continue Rome, they plundered it. They inherited its territory, but not its language, administration, or education. The new rulers of Europe imitated what they could not understand. They used Latin titles, sealed documents with Roman emblems, and wore purple cloaks. But behind these symbols, the essence remained barbaric. Power was rooted in violence, wealth in looting, and respect in the lineage of the sword. Rome had been founded upon the idea of order and law. Her conquerors replaced it with custom and arbitrariness. A civilized world fell into the hands of men who had never known the discipline of learning, the labor of knowledge, or the education of the mind. Amid this chaos, the only institution that survived was the Church. But detached from its Roman framework, it too was transformed. The Bishop of Rome became the single stable source of authority. Spiritual guidance turned into political administration. Thus, the faith of the conquerors took the shape of power. Religion became an instrument of unity, not an experience of truth. The Pope became a Caesar, and the Caesar, a servant of the Pope. The world that emerged from this union became the first nucleus of medieval Western civilization, a society where violence was sanctified as divine order, and thought obeyed hierarchy. The barbarian kings admired Rome, but never comprehended her. They wished to rebuild her, but without her virtues. They raised temples and palaces, but without cultivation of the spirit. They borrowed Christianity, but without undergoing the discipline that had shaped it, and thus, later, they would distort it. Europe revived the forms, not the essence. It imitated the language, the art, the books, but not the memory that had given them life. The Renaissance, centuries later, would be the grand culmination of this imitation, a return to the texts without the spirit that inspired them. Man learned to read, but not to understand. This is the true origin of the West. It did not descend from Rome, but from the peoples who destroyed her. The psychology of power, the worship of technique, the conviction that man rules over nature, these are echoes of that first age, when barbarity conquered civilization and took its place wearing its robes. Beneath the impressive noise of progress, the Western world still carries that dual heritage, the civilization it conquered, and the barbarity it never transcended. This inner division explains the arrogance, anxiety, and instability of Western societies to this day. This is not merely history, it is the foundation of the political reality of our time. Modern decisions, conflicts, wars, even the very idea of global hegemony, all trace back to that distant age. If we wish to read the political present correctly, to understand what hides behind the news, behind alliances, interests, and institutions, we must first know the true origin of the West. For only those who know how a world was born can foresee how it will end.